Why do we crave junk food? I'm here to tell you a couple reasons why and what you can do to cut that habit out of your life for good. So what makes junk food so irresistible? There's many different things. One is that the caloric density of the food is designed in a way to trick your brain into thinking that this is great for source of energy, but it's not enough, or at least it takes a very long time for you to feel satisfied and full from it. Again, going back into the macronutrient breakdown, it's really difficult to have enough to feel full. And I mean, potato chips, Oreos, things like that, it's really tough to, have less than 3 or 4 or like a serving and feel, okay, I'm full now, I'm good. And number 2 is the rapid food meltdown, the food that the idea, when you eat something, the melt in your mouth feel, or, when you chew a Cheeto, it starts to disintegrate. What happens is that it triggers your brain, and in your stomach, all the receptors think, oh, there's not much in here. And also, probably the scariest one is the psychobiology, the response that we have in our brains to eating a particular food that we enjoy. For me, it was brownies. Let's say brownies, for example. When you eat a brownie that you're really enjoying, your brain registers where you're eating it, with whom you're eating it, what time you're eating it, after a meal, in the kitchen, wherever. And next time you get triggered by either thinking about a brownie, hearing about that specific event, the certain people, you start to trigger and crave the food based on your circumstances, what you're thinking about, what you're hearing about. If it's particularly after a stressed event, when you're stressed, you go to the certain food. Whenever that, your stress levels hit a certain, repetitive feeling or emotion, you crave that food or, that outlet. So that's a scary one. That's one you really got to be careful of. So how do you solve your junk food cravings for once and for all? The good news here is that the less that you eat them, the less that you're going to crave them. So kind of substituting with better foods, after a while, you'll start to compound those habits and you'll start to crave them less and less. But here are my 3 favorite strategies in dealing with junk food cravings, and just implementing these habits, it's going to make it a little bit more effortless to be able to stop them altogether. Number 1, use the outer ring strategy and the 5-ingredient rule. So when you use the outer ring strategy, what does that mean? It's when you go grocery shopping, only shop on the outer ring of the grocery store. You're not going to bypass all of the packaged and processed foods and junk foods, but a good chance you'll bypass most of them. And most of the time you'll find your fruits, veggies, and meats, chicken, poultry, around the outer edge of the grocery store. With that, the 5-ingredient rule, try to stick to foods that have 5 ingredients or less. Typically, ones that have 5 or more have been, processed to an extent where you're going to want more of them. It's going to have that junk food aspect to them. Number 2, eat a variety of foods. Our brain craves novelty, craves variety. So, with healthier foods, you're not going to get the same effect of an Oreo, the same response of potato chip. But what you can do is, pair a carrot that is crunchy with hummus, creamy, so you get a good effect. It's not going to be the same. Obviously, it's not going to be the same. But what you can do is do your best to be creative. There's tons of resources online where you can just model what they're doing to get the same, to enjoy it, so it's nutritious and it's delicious. But it won't be perfect, but it's a good start. Last but not least, here we go, number 3 is to find a better way to deal with stress. Typically when you are craving junk food, it's because of some underlying cause, probably because of stress of some sort. So when you get stressed, it's very easy to fall into the addictive cravings of junk food. I myself was a great example. For much of my life, it's very easy to, have an event where either you're stressed or, you don't do well on a test in high school or college, or, you don't do well in work that day, and it's easy to fall into the trap of going for junk food. But instead of that, you need to interrupt this pattern. If you interrupt it enough times and then substitute it with something that will put you in a different state, like we talk about on this channel, and you can do it something that's quick, or it could be longer, but if you interrupt it enough times and substitute it with this new habit, it can change how you respond. A couple ideas would be, starting a meditation when you feel those effects. Short 5-10 minute meditation to calm your mind, to calm your focus into a particular area. You could also do breathing techniques. Breathing techniques really work well. In my personal experience, something that you can do 5 minutes or less to radically change your state, your environment, is breathing techniques. You can exercise. This won't work late at night unless it's something that you can do. I find, though, exercise with a lot of people that I work with, on days that they exercise, myself included, it's very hard to fall into the bad habits because you're kind of casting a vote for yourself to be a healthier person. You're aligning your beliefs and your values with somebody who's healthy. So junk food is typically not, it's very hard to exercise, have a great workout that day, and then fall into bad habits. But it depends on where you are. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, I'd love if you could drop a like below and comment, subscribe. Thank you for your time and attention. If you like it, play this video, I'd love to smash that like button so that we helps the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your time and attention, guys. Thanks, bye.